Your daily habits shape your destiny, and the small, consistent actions you take today are the building blocks of extraordinary success tomorrow. Success is less about luck and talent, and more about mastering your mind, controlling your thoughts, and intentionally rewiring your behavior to align with your goals. By adopting specific habits, you can program your mind to focus on opportunities, overcome obstacles effortlessly, and attract success into every area of your life. Every great achievement begins with the smallest actions repeated consistently over time. Think about the people you admire most in life, those who have reached the pinnacles of success. What separates them from the average person is not merely talent, luck, or connections. It is the power of habit. The routines they follow, the choices they make daily, and the discipline to stick to a pattern are what create the foundation for greatness. Habits are the invisible architecture of our lives, silently building or destroying the life we live. Each small decision you make, whether to read a book instead of scrolling through your phone, to exercise when you feel tired, or to speak positively when faced with a challenge, has a compounding effect. These choices may seem insignificant in isolation, but over time they accumulate, shaping your mind and ultimately your destiny. When you understand this, you begin to see that success is not a distant prize reserved for a lucky few, but a process that anyone can cultivate, starting with the way you live every single day. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every thought, action, and habit is like a seed. Some seeds are weeds, destructive and limiting. Others are flowers, growing into beauty and abundance. If you neglect your garden, it fills with weeds, self-doubt, fear, procrastination, and negativity. But if you tend to it intentionally, planting seeds of discipline, optimism, curiosity, and resilience, the results are inevitable. You cannot expect to harvest a magnificent garden if you plant weeds, and you cannot expect to achieve extraordinary success without cultivating habits that nourish your mind, body, and soul. It is a law of nature and a law of life. What you sow, you reap. And the harvest is always proportional to the care and consistency you invest in your daily practices. Daily habits are more than mere routines. They are a reflection of your identity. When you adopt a habit of learning every day, you signal to your mind that you are a lifelong learner. When you commit to exercising consistently, you send the message that you value health, energy, and vitality. When you practice gratitude or journaling, you teach your mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Your actions, repeated over time, literally rewire your neural pathways. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is incredibly plastic. It changes in response to repeated thoughts and behaviors. Every time you perform an action intentionally, you strengthen the connection in your brain associated with that action, making it easier to repeat and harder to break. This is why habits are not just small behaviors. They are the scaffolding upon which your mind builds your future. The most successful people in history understood this principle intuitively. They did not wait for inspiration to strike or for the perfect moment to begin. They began, small and steady, with daily habits that compounded into extraordinary results. Benjamin Franklin, for instance, meticulously tracked his virtues every day, ensuring that his actions aligned with his personal values. Oprah Winfrey reads daily and meditates consistently, habits that have given her clarity, focus, and resilience. Jim Rohn himself always emphasized, that your life does not change until you change your daily actions, your philosophies, and your mindset. This is the secret. You do not become wealthy, successful, or influential overnight, but you do become the person capable of these achievements by cultivating habits that reflect the person you want to be. Consistency is the magic ingredient that transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. You might not see immediate results, and that is precisely why many people give up. The process feels slow, unremarkable, and even frustrating. But those who persist, who continue to show up every day with intentionality and purpose, create momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. Small wins accumulate like drops of water, forming a powerful river, carving paths where none existed before. When you understand the power of daily habits, you stop chasing quick fixes, shortcuts, or external validation, and instead, you focus on the internal architecture of your mind. You focus on what you can control, the thoughts you think, the actions you take, and the routines you uphold. Perhaps the most transformative realization is that your daily habits shape not only your actions, but also your beliefs. When you consistently act in alignment with success reading, planning, exercising discipline, cultivating relationships, and thinking positively, you begin to believe that success is not only possible, but inevitable. Your mind begins to expect excellence, to seek solutions instead of problems, and to persist where others quit. Habits do not merely create results, they create identity. They sculpt the very person you are becoming. You are not simply performing tasks, you are programming your subconscious mind for achievement. Each choice, each routine, each moment of self-discipline is a brick in the foundation of your future. So, the question is no longer whether you can achieve success, but whether you are willing to invest in yourself daily. Are you willing to show up when motivation fades, when the task is tedious, or when distractions tempt you to give in? Are you willing to plant seeds of consistency, resilience, and focus even when the harvest is months or years away? The truth is, the path to success is rarely glamorous or easy, but it is accessible to anyone who decides to honor their habits and understand their power. Your destiny is in your hands, and it is shaped by the choices you make every day, the habits you cultivate, and the unwavering commitment to becoming the person capable of achieving greatness. When you embrace the discipline of daily habits, you are no longer at the mercy of chance or circumstance. You are the architect of your own life, building steadily, intentionally, and wisely. Your thoughts, actions, and routines converge to create a mind wired for success, a life designed for achievement, and a future limited only by the scope of your vision. Every small step, repeated consistently, compounds into extraordinary outcomes, and the journey of 1,000 successes begins with the courage to take one deliberate action today. The power to change your life lies not in monumental events, but in the seemingly insignificant, yet profoundly transformative, habits you choose to live by. Success is not something that just happens to lucky people or those with extraordinary talent. It is the result of a deliberate process, a consistent mindset, and the conscious choices we make every day. Most people chase success externally. They look for shortcuts, waiting for the right opportunity, the perfect timing, or the validation of others. But the truth is that external circumstances only matter if your mind is prepared to handle them. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and the internal patterns of your mind are the ultimate determinants of what you achieve in life. Before you can reach your goals, before you can climb the ladder of wealth or influence, you must master the most powerful tool you possess, your mind. Mastering the mind begins with awareness. Observe your thoughts, your reactions, and the stories you tell yourself. Many people are unknowingly programming their minds for failure without even realizing it. Negative self-talk, fear, procrastination, and doubt become invisible chains that limit potential. These patterns are habits in themselves, repeated over time, reinforcing a mindset that resists growth. But just as destructive patterns are formed, positive ones can be intentionally cultivated. By becoming aware of your mental habits, you gain the power to replace them with thoughts and beliefs that propel you toward success. You learn to take control of your mind rather than letting your mind control you, and this shift is transformational because your inner world dictates your outer world. The mind responds to focus and repetition. What you dwell on most, what you repeatedly tell yourself, and what you visualize consistently becomes reality. Jim Rohn often emphasized that you cannot achieve what you cannot imagine or believe. If you constantly tell yourself that success is for others, or that obstacles are too great, your mind will find ways to make that true. But if you cultivate the habit of thinking in terms of solutions, opportunities, and possibilities, your mind will begin to automatically seek paths that align with success. The simple act of controlling your thoughts, of consciously choosing what to focus on, rewires your mental circuits over time. You are training your mind to become a magnet for opportunity, creativity, and achievement. Discipline is the bridge between thought and action. A focused mind alone is not enough. It must be coupled with consistent behavior. Each thought that aligns with success must be translated into action, even when motivation wanes or obstacles appear. The mind thrives on consistency. When you repeatedly act in accordance with your goals, you create momentum. Neural pathways in the brain become stronger, habits form more easily, and decisions that once required struggle begin to flow naturally. Success becomes less about brute effort and more about alignment. Your actions, thoughts, and beliefs operating in harmony. The mind, when disciplined, becomes an unstoppable force that navigates challenges with resilience, finds solutions where others see problems, and remains calm under pressure. An important aspect of rewiring your mind for success is managing the influence of your environment. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in all shape your mental patterns. Surrounding yourself with negativity, cynicism, or complacency reinforces limiting beliefs. Conversely, immersing yourself in growth-minded communities, inspiring content, and mentors who exemplify excellence rewires your mind to expect more from yourself and your life. This is why intentionality matters. You cannot leave your mind vulnerable to random influences if you want to achieve greatness. The external world becomes a reflection of your internal programming, and by consciously curating your mental environment, you amplify your ability to think strategically, act decisively, and embrace opportunities fearlessly. Visualization and mental rehearsal are also critical tools for success. Top performers in every field, from athletes to entrepreneurs, understand that the mind cannot distinguish vividly imagined experiences from reality. When you mentally rehearse success, when you see yourself overcoming challenges, achieving goals, and living the life you desire, your subconscious begins to accept it as possible. This creates confidence, reduces fear, and strengthens decision making. Habits of visualization combined with positive affirmations and reflective thinking reshape your mental landscape. You train your mind to recognize solutions, anticipate obstacles, and remain motivated even in difficult circumstances. It is a mental gym where strength, clarity, and resilience are built daily. Failure, paradoxically, is another tool for rewiring your mind. People who fear failure allow it to dominate their thoughts, paralyzing their potential. But when you reframe failure as feedback, as a learning experience, your mind grows stronger and more adaptable. Each setback becomes an opportunity to refine your thinking, improve strategies, and reinforce the belief that success is inevitable if persistence remains. The mind learns to interpret challenges as opportunities rather than threats, and this shift in perception is often the difference between ordinary results and extraordinary achievement. Ultimately, rewiring your mind for success is a conscious, ongoing process. It requires awareness, focus, repetition, discipline, and the courage to confront limiting beliefs head on. It requires choosing thoughts that empower, adopting behaviors that align with your goals, and surrounding yourself with people and influences that elevate your thinking. The mind is not static, it is malleable and responsive. When you commit to rewiring it intentionally, you transform not only the results you achieve, but also the person you become. Success, then, is not a matter of luck or circumstance. It is the natural consequence of a mind programmed to expect excellence, act decisively, and persevere relentlessly. The habits you adopt do more than just influence your daily life. They shape the very structure of your mind and the trajectory of your future. Every decision, every action, and every thought creates patterns in your brain that either propel you toward success or pull you into mediocrity. By intentionally cultivating habits that support growth, resilience, and clarity, you begin to program your mind to notice opportunities, solve problems effortlessly, and attract success into every area of your life. These habits act like a compass, guiding your actions, decisions, and energy in a way that aligns with your goals. Success is not random. It is the cumulative result of habits repeated consistently over time, habits that transform your mind into a magnet for achievement. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is the habit of focus. The modern world bombards you with distractions at every turn, from social media notifications to endless streams of information. If your mind is scattered, your energy is dissipated, and your potential remains untapped. When you cultivate the ability to focus deeply on what truly matters, you create clarity and efficiency. Focus is not just about completing tasks. It is about directing your mental energy toward the actions that have the highest impact on your growth and your goals. The brain responds to repetition, and by practicing focus daily, you strengthen neural pathways that make concentration easier, allowing you to achieve more in less time. A focused mind sees possibilities where others see obstacles, recognizes solutions where others see problems, and maintains momentum even in the face of setbacks. Another transformative habit is the habit of learning. Life is constantly changing, and the world rewards those who adapt, innovate, and expand their knowledge. Reading, seeking mentorship, reflecting on experiences, and being curious about the world are all habits that feed the mind and keep it sharp. Knowledge alone does not create success, but the consistent application of knowledge through thoughtful action creates results that compound over time. Each piece of insight, every lesson learned, becomes a tool that the mind can use to navigate challenges and seize opportunities. By developing the habit of learning, you are rewiring your mind to think strategically, solve creatively, and anticipate the future rather than react to it. Gratitude is a habit often overlooked but immensely powerful in shaping your mindset. When you regularly focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you create a mental environment of abundance and positivity. Gratitude trains your mind to see possibilities instead of limitations, to appreciate progress instead of fixating on setbacks, and to maintain motivation even when results seem distant. This habit does more than improve your outlook. It literally changes the way your brain processes experiences, rewiring neural circuits to focus on opportunities, relationships, and solutions. A grateful mind is a receptive mind, a mind that attracts the people, resources, and circumstances that align with success. Discipline is the linchpin habit that holds everything together. Motivation comes and goes, inspiration fluctuates, and external circumstances are unpredictable. But discipline is a habit you can control. When you commit to acting according to your goals, even when you don't feel like it, you train your mind to persevere, to prioritize long-term rewards over short-term comfort, and to overcome resistance effortlessly. Discipline creates momentum. Each consistent action, no matter how small, reinforces your identity as someone who can achieve what they set out to do. Over time, this builds confidence, resilience, and an unshakable belief that you are capable of handling challenges and achieving your dreams. Visualization and mental rehearsal are habits that take your mind to the next level. The brain cannot distinguish vivid imagination from reality, so by regularly imagining yourself achieving your goals, overcoming obstacles, and living the life you desire, you train your subconscious to accept success as possible. This habit creates mental familiarity with success, reduces fear of failure, and strengthens decision-making under pressure. Athletes, entrepreneurs, and top performers in every field use this habit to condition their minds to expect victory. And by doing so, they prepare themselves to act decisively when opportunities arise. Reflection is another critical habit for rewiring the mind. Taking time to analyze your actions, your decisions, and your results allows you to identify patterns, correct mistakes, and optimize your strategies. Reflection turns experiences into lessons and lessons into wisdom. It trains your mind to operate proactively, learning from the past while focusing on the future, rather than reacting impulsively to circumstances. The habit of reflection is a habit of growth, one that strengthens self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and strategic thinking. Finally, the habit of surrounding yourself with excellence cannot be overstated. The people you spend time with, the environments you inhabit, and the influences you allow into your mind either elevate you or limit you. By intentionally choosing mentors, peers, and communities that inspire growth, positivity, and high standards, you create a mental ecosystem that supports success. Your mind absorbs patterns, behaviors, and attitudes from those around you. By placing yourself in an environment of excellence, you accelerate your own development, gain insights that might otherwise take years to discover, and reinforce habits that align with achievement. In essence, these habits, focus, learning, gratitude, discipline, visualization, reflection, and surrounding yourself with excellence, create a synergy that rewires your mind for success. They program your thoughts, strengthen your mental pathways, and align your actions with your goals. Your mind begins to anticipate opportunities, navigate challenges effortlessly, and attract circumstances that support growth. Habits are not just behaviors, they are the framework of identity. When you adopt habits intentionally, you become the person capable of achieving greatness, and your life transforms naturally as a result. The habits you practice today are the architects of your future, the invisible forces shaping your destiny, and the most powerful tool you have to create a life of abundance, achievement, and fulfillment. Now that we've explored the habits that can rewire your mind for success, I want you to take a moment and really imagine your life transformed. Picture yourself waking up each morning with clarity, purpose, and unstoppable energy. Imagine feeling a deep sense of control over your thoughts, your actions, and your destiny. Can you see it? Can you feel the excitement of knowing that you have the power to shape your future, not through luck or chance, but through the choices you make every single day? This is not a dream. It is the reality waiting for those who are willing to commit to the habits of success. And the question you must ask yourself right now is simple. Are you ready to step into that reality, starting today, starting this very moment? Success, my friends, is never a lightning strike. It is never a random occurrence. It is the inevitable result of small, intentional actions repeated consistently, and here's the truth you need to embrace. Your mind is the command center of everything you will ever achieve. The thoughts you allow, the beliefs you nurture, and the habits you practice are building the blueprint for your destiny. If you want to be wealthy, not just in money but in knowledge, influence, and fulfillment, you must start by cultivating habits that align your mind with success. You must take responsibility for your own programming, because no one else can do it for you. Your mind is like a garden, and the seeds you plant today determine whether your harvest is abundant or barren. Let me be clear, the path will not always be easy. There will be days when you want to quit, moments when motivation fades, and times when distractions try to pull you away. But this is precisely why habits are so powerful. Habits carry you forward when motivation is low. Habits give you momentum when challenges appear. Habits transform ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Imagine if every day you committed to focus just a little more, to read and learn, to act with discipline, to reflect, to visualize your success. Imagine the compound effect of these choices over months and years. The person you will become will be someone who can overcome obstacles, seize opportunities, and create results that once seemed impossible. Think about this for a moment. What are the conversations you have with yourself daily? Are you reinforcing doubt and fear, or are you speaking words of encouragement, optimism, and possibility? If you want your life to change, you must change the dialogue in your mind. Say to yourself, I am capable, I am persistent, I am committed to growth, I am a magnet for opportunity. Speak it daily, repeat it until your mind cannot ignore it. because your subconscious mind is listening, and it will respond by aligning your actions, your choices, and your energy with the success you declare. The life you want begins in your mind, and the habits you adopt are the bridge between thinking and achieving. And let me remind you, failure is not the enemy, fear is not the obstacle. They are merely signals that you are pushing beyond your comfort zone, stepping into growth. Every setback, every mistake, every challenge is an opportunity to rewire your mind, to strengthen your habits, and to prove to yourself that you are resilient. Imagine viewing every difficulty not as a stop sign, but as a teacher. Imagine welcoming challenges with the confidence that your habits, your discipline, and your mindset are powerful enough to navigate anything. This is the power of a mind rewired for success. It transforms fear into courage, doubt into determination, and obstacles into stepping stone. Now, here is the challenge I want to leave you with. Look at your life honestly and ask yourself, which habits am I nurturing today? Which thoughts am I feeding? Which actions am I repeating daily that are building the life I want? If the answer is not inspiring, it is time to make a change. You have the ability to choose differently, to start new habits today that will compound into extraordinary results tomorrow. Commit to reading more, to focusing your energy on what matters, to reflecting on your growth, to visualizing your success, and to surrounding yourself with excellence. Decide that your mind will no longer be a passive observer of life, but an active architect of your future. Imagine the ripple effect of these choices. One habit forms, one thought transforms, one action compounds, and suddenly your life is no longer dictated by circumstance. It is guided by purpose. Your energy attracts like-minded people. Your mindset sees opportunity where others see obstacles. Your discipline propels you past those who give up when challenges arise. And over time, you will look back and realize that your life has been completely reshaped. Not by chance, not by luck, but by the power of the habits you chose, repeated consistently, and allowed to rewire your mind for success. So I ask you, are you ready to take control? Are you ready to feed your mind with thoughts of possibility, to adopt habits that align with your goals, to persevere when it is hard, and to embrace the journey of growth with unwavering faith in yourself? Because the truth is, success is not waiting for the perfect moment. It is waiting for you to decide that your mind, your habits, and your actions are worthy of greatness. Step into that power. Step into the discipline. Step into the mindset of someone who refuses to settle for mediocrity. The life you desire is not a fantasy. It is a reality waiting for you to create it. Rewire your mind. Commit to habits that elevate you. Take action daily, no matter how small. Visualize, focus, learn, reflect, and persevere. Your potential is limitless, and the only thing standing between you and your dreams is the choice to align your mind with success. Start today, start now, because your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and the habits you build today will shape the legacy you leave for tomorrow.